If I can talk for like 1 minute on the budget.
I'm sure you can talk for a lot longer than that. Don't sell yourself short. Good evening and welcome to the Board of Selectmen meeting for Tuesday, January 4th, 2022. Please stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance, led by Selectman Larry Ryan.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please be advised that this open meeting is being broadcast live and recorded by WRPS for playback on Comcast Channel 14 and Verizon Channel 31. It's also available live online at www.wrpsrockland.com/TV and within 24 hours by video on demand at www.youtube.com/WRPSRockland. Please go to WRPSRockland.com for further information. First on the agenda, community announcements. Doug.
Thanks, Mike. The town clerk, Liza Landy, asked me to mention to the public that nomination papers for the April 9th annual town election will be available starting tomorrow, which is Wednesday the 5th. And there's a long list of elected positions that will be available, and we encourage the public to look into those at the clerk's office, and if they're so interested, to pull papers. So nomination papers available tomorrow. That's it.
Okay, anybody on the board have any comments on that or questions? Okay. Next on the agenda, minutes, review and approval of minutes of December 21st, 2021. I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion. Do I have a second? Take your time reading those if you haven't already.
I'll second it.
Thanks, Larry. I have a motion and a second. All those in favor? That's unanimous with one abstention because two abstentions because Kara and Tiffany were not here. Okay, next on the agenda, new business. Public hearing. All alcohol license approval for Stevie G's Restaurant, 372 Market Street, Rockland. Okay, Andrew, you want to come up to the mic?
Yeah, sure.
Do we have to wait till 7:15 or?
Welcome.
Should I wait till 7:15?
I mean, just in case somebody comes at 7:15 and wants to give comment, you probably should.
Why don't you grab a seat there again for a second, Andrew, just in case somebody comes in and objects to you running your business. So, all right. So, I don't know, Doug, you have any jokes you want to tell us in the meantime?
Not good ones.
Fair enough.
Larry might.
Oh, don't. I didn't ask. I asked Doug for a reason. All right. Next on the agenda, we're going to jump ahead to the FY23 budget, if needed.
Sure, Mike. I just thought I'd mention a couple of things. We're at the beginning of the process. As the board knows, we're waiting for the governor's budget to come out. That'll happen later this month. So that's really going to be important for us to get a sense of where we're at with state aid, Chapter 70, all those kind of baseline numbers. Working with the town accountant on projecting our revenues. We've also begun all of our individual department head meetings, going over each individual department head's budget with them, literally line by line. And this year, we are entertaining potential requests for additional funding in some of the areas that I identified earlier. And there are a number of areas, especially that we're really lacking in staffing. And so we are going to look at those, and then we'll see how it all shakes out later with available funding, what we're actually able to accomplish. I'm also going to be meeting with Dr. Cron from the school department later this week just to keep those lines of communication going to talk about the budget and a bunch of other financial related items. So early in the process, but we should be in good shape.
And what do you think the timeline will be? Did you say, so we have a working draft to the finance committee that they're already
correct. So we did meet our requirement in the charter. So we did send out our initial draft, and as is always the case, it shows a huge deficit.
Absolutely.
A couple $1 million deficit, like it always is, because both the school and the town side, we put in all the things that we would like and think that we need, all of which are legitimate, but are most likely beyond our ability to afford. So I don't have the full budget calendar in front of me, but it's a normal process, and over the next couple months we'll be going through with departments going to the finance committee, going through their budgets. We're also working with the capital committee. They have their first meeting scheduled. I forwarded all our capital request forms for articles that we'll have at town meeting as well. And as I mentioned earlier, right off the bat, there's a couple of big ticket capital items that we really urgently need to do, and it's going to eat up a lot of our free cash. A new fuel system at the highway department that fuels up all of our vehicles, in addition to a new fire engine. So there's a couple of big ticket items that we'll need.
And both of those items gone through capital planning?
They will be going through capital planning
All right.
in the coming month or so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, anybody have any questions for Doug on the budget? Okay, moving on. Next on the agenda, National Opioid Litigation Update. Doug.
Sure. So the board knows, but for the public's benefit, we've met in executive session a few times recently. The town of Rockland was one of the first towns to initiate action under that national opioid litigation due to the terrible impacts of the opioid epidemic on our community. And then as time went by, there was a consortium that was formed nationally with some high-powered law firms representing all the plaintiffs, all the communities, the cities and towns and states. And the town of Rockland did what I think is the right thing in joining in with this consortium to have the leverage and the power of 50 states and, thousands and thousands of municipalities in fighting the really powerful opioid and distributor legal law firms. So what's happened is there's a first potential settlement offer from both Janssen, the manufacturer, as well as all the distributors. And the dilemma that the town was faced with is we were initially led to believe a long time ago that this sort of first round of settlement could and should result in literally millions of dollars in compensation that could come to the town. In reality, as years have gone by in this legal battle, the actual numbers are proving to be a lot lower for this particular settlement. And the specific numbers for the town of Rockland that we are likely to receive through this settlement is in the range of $30,000 to $45,000 per year for 18 years, so in the $500,000 range. So the board was obviously extremely upset at that low figure, and I think a number of you even said you felt insulted by it, which is understandable. And there was a lot of back and forth where we had to decide whether we would accept kind of that bird in the hand of some guaranteed compensation to the town for the damages versus opting out of the national consortium and literally fighting these national pharmaceutical manufacturers and distributors completely on our own. And after a lot of deliberation and input from town council, as well as staff input from the chiefs and myself, the assistant town administrator, the board ultimately voted 3-2 to accept the consortium settlement and to accept the offer. And we were under a deadline set by the consortium and the courts and the other firms involved. There's a certain threshold that has to be met. I believe there's 2 different thresholds. One of them is actually 95% of all the participants in the consortium have to agree, or they're going to start from scratch. And what I've been told is that all of our neighboring communities have all signed on, and that it looks like they are on track to get that 95%. But I know it's a very, very difficult decision for the board. So that is my general update. I'm sure some of you may have comments that you'd want to make as well, but that's the big picture update. There will be, the last thing I'll say is, there will be there's other manufacturers and other defendants in the case, and there should be more settlements as well to come.
Thank you, Doug. All right, I'll open it up to the members of the board. Anybody have any comments or questions?
I'll have a couple words.
By all means.
It wasn't really a tough decision to make. Being the senior guy, I've been around for a long time, and I've seen the state do business before. In the very beginning, and this was in retrospect, they dangled plums and ginger bars in front of us, told us, you can get $10 to $15 million if you join this consortium now. And we all saw that and said, you know, these companies deserve whatever fate they can get. But if you really stopped and did the math, 15 million times how many towns and countries and everything else, it's a fantastic, phenomenal large number. But anyway, one of the reasons that I chose not or to vote against suing on our own was because the burden it would put on the town. We've all been through lawsuits in the town and over the years, and it takes a lot of time and effort on our people to look up all the stuff again. And now we're going to be fighting big pharmaceutical companies, and we're the only ones in our state that are going to do it. I weighed all the options, and I said, you know something? Where did we get personally injured? Except for our resources were taxed. The fire department was taxed extra from having to go to Narcan people and rescue all this different things, and the police putting up with the crime that's involved with the opiate addicts and things like that. But that's town business. That's X amount of money, but it's part of our job as a town to provide those services for the people of the town of Rockland. That being said, the burden that it would have put on Doug and Jen and all of our town departments to do all the work and gather all the information again would put too much work on the town and stop us from what we really need to do, and that's continue to grow as Rockland has been growing in the last few years. You don't want to fight the state. And the state made a decision for us. We're not happy about it. I'm not happy about it, but it's still a decision that they made that they think is in the best interest of the people of the state. And for us to go and buck them on it, if you want to call it that, or fight them on it, or say, you know, thanks a lot for nothing, you know, you're sort of kicking the hand that feeds you. And we get an awful lot of money from the state in our usual budget every year. And then in the recent years, we've been getting a lot of extra money on all these different grants. We just got $400,000 for the farm and a few other things. And because we've been working with the state on all these different programs, the open space committees and all the different things, the housing production plan and all the different, you know, the Ralph Wilmers coming down here and taking care of us and setting up all these different programs for us. And I hate to jeopardize that. People say, no, that wouldn't happen. They wouldn't hold you, and you know. But we know this. We lost a water grant that we needed to increase our water distribution at one point, and it just happened to coincide with the personal town issue that happened to be going on at the time. And you can say whatever you want that the two didn't interact, but we were all set to get the money, and then all of a sudden we didn't. So, again, I've been around a long time. I've wrote amendments to the state budget even, and you know, and got 0 votes. I got 1 vote. Our state rep voted for us that time, but you don't want to. I just don't think fighting the town, fighting the state, if you will, and fighting pharmacology by ourselves and putting the burden, it's not going to be on us sitting here. It's going to be on them sitting there. And it's going to be, we already have a possible suit coming up that we have to talk about, and we don't want to, and that's going to be a pain in the behind, and we want to add more to it. I don't know. I just, you know, again, I'm mad at the state. I don't think it's their right to take our business and tell us what to do, they've changed it for us. I don't think it's, you know, they should at least have the common decency to come down here and send a state rep or whatever to say, listen, this is what our plan is, instead of springing it on us at the end. But the right thing to do is to take the money and run, because in the end, we have to prove personal injury to the town of Rockland. And all we did was provide extra services that we provide anyway, if you will, and that's what they're going to hop on. They're going to say, well, you know, the people that lost loved ones to the epidemic, who got their pills from their doctor, who gave them to them from the pharmacology people, they're going to have they got their own suits going, I'm sure. their own personal suits to protect their family rights, but the average person who ODs in the town of Rockland isn't somebody who got the pills from a doctor. He got them from somebody who's got them from a doctor, or he got them from somebody who's selling them on the street. And so, what's our culpability? What's our play on that? We can't sue them for their deaths. You have to sort of prove some sort of chain of command, if you will, I imagine. And again, it was a very hard decision, but I think we made the correct one, and I think that in the long run, the town of Rockland is going to be much better off because we're going to be able to concentrate on Rockland's growth rather than a maybe, a possibility, a likely story. It may happen. We don't need that kind of ambiguity or sitting out there hanging over us whether or not anything's going to do, and the amount of work that we have to put in to do that. And again, we're not doing it. They're doing it. And that's one of the major reasons that I said, take the money and run. That'll do it.
Anybody else? So, obviously, Larry, I have a ton of respect for you, and I completely respect your opinion in this matter. And you're right, it was an impossible decision, impossible situation for us to be put in. And I think more than anything, I'm mad. I'm not mad at this board. I'm not mad at town staff or anything like that. I'm mad at the state, and I'm frustrated that they came in the 11th hour and took the money and did exactly what we thought they were going to do, which is why we went out in the first place and joined this mass tort and sued in the first place on our own, because we didn't want to wait for the state, because we knew that the state was going to turn around and they were going to take the money and they were going to tell us how we were going to spend it. Rockland, as most people in the community are well aware, we were hit very, very hard by the opioid crisis, and per capita, at one point we were the #1 in the state for opioid-related deaths. We lost an entire generation of citizens to this crisis, and for me, more than anything, I believe in accountability, and the frustration here is that Big Pharma was able to skirt the accountability, able to make a settlement without admitting culpability in this matter, and they were able to dictate terms to us and tell us what's going to be paid out, and then what we're going to get, and it's just more of the same. And I'm not sure where it comes from. I'm not sure if it's the legislatures in the state. Why we feel as though we're so subservient to them and we're so dependent. And I understand we get a lot of money from the state, but we're all here to represent the residents of this community, and I think every one of us up here tries to do that to the best of our ability. And it's really incredibly frustrating and disappointing that the state forces our hand in this manner, and that we feel as though we don't want to upset the state. I could give a damn about upsetting the state at this point, because they work for us too. We elect them. So, if they don't want to give something to us, if they're that petty that we went against them, that they're going to hold it against us for a generation, then that's on them. They got to look in the mirror at themselves, because they did that to us during the scandal that went on in this town. They turned down the water that they turned around and gave us now. They turned down Complete Streets, which is a perfect grant, but they didn't trust, how the money was going to be spent or who was looking at it. Well, you know what? That's on the state, but I don't bend the knee to the state. We work for the residents of the town, and I could use Selectman Ryan's classic phrase, but I won't use it. But that's pretty much where I feel about the state at this point, as far as them dictating to us how we should spend our money. It goes for the county too, how we should spend our money as it pertains to creating better lives for the residents of this town. So, like I said, I'm upset, I'm frustrated. So, whatever. I don't usually go off like that. So. It is what it is. If anybody else has anything to say that's positive, feel free to jump in now. Okay, and with that, we're moving on. Other old business not reasonably anticipated? We'll just close that up? Okay.
Hearing.
And now on to the 7:15 public hearing that we were 15 minutes early for, and now we're 5 minutes late. Yep, that's kind of how we roll around here.
Motion to open the hearing?
So 7:15 public hearing, all alcohol license approval for Stevie G's Restaurant, 372 Market Street, Rockland. I got a motion to open the public hearing. I got a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Selectman Ryan?
Yes.
Selectman Penny? Selectman Needham? And Vice Chairman Nyman?
Yes.
And myself. Okay, once again, Andrew, to the podium. Andrew, welcome.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Nice to see you again.
Yeah, you too.
So Andrew, tell us a little bit about Stevie G's and what you're looking to do at this location, which is the location formerly known as Butterfield's Restaurant for about 50 years. So
Yeah.
what do you got?
Yeah, so Stevie G's Restaurant. My brother and I actually got our foot in the door in the restaurant industry, working for Butterfield's, 20 years ago as dishwashers. So it's kind of come full circle. The family reached out to us, and they knew that we were looking for restaurants in the area for a couple of years now. So they reached out to us and asked if we were interested in purchasing the business, which we were thrilled to get that honor. I live in Rockland myself, so I have a family here. This is where I grew up, went to Rockland High, so pretty nice to be able to open a business in your town, where you're from and everything, especially a place where you got your start. So that's a little background on us. My brother, same thing, Rockland guy, has been a chef also for the past 20 years, bunch of restaurants throughout the South Shore, and at this point we're just looking to try to apply for the all alcohol liquor license. Basically just trying to do like craft cocktails, brunch themed. We're not trying to be another Rockland bar. It's going to be a family-friendly, family-themed restaurant. Wanted to open, offer like mimosas and Bloody Marys, simple brunch themed craft cocktails. Butterfield's had a beer and wine license, I believe, for the past 20 years. They didn't have the all alcohol. So it was brought to my attention that before this I had to go to the zoning board, basically just to allow to operate, sell alcohol at the premises again. And here we are now. I'm just trying to move forward with being allowed to serve alcohol at this location.
Okay. Anybody have any questions for Andrew?
Nope.
I looked at the paperwork before the meeting. It seems like everything's in place. Just looking to see when you might be opening.
We're hoping for the 18th of this month.
Oh, okay.
We had to update our bathrooms to handicap accessible. So those are in the process of being updated right now. So sheetrock's on it's going up right now. So maybe like a week and a half, 2 weeks, we'll be able to get the building department in, do our final inspections, and get the green light.
Oh, great. Looking forward to it.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to meet you. I'm certainly wishing you and your brother the best.
Oh, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Okay. Any other comments?
No, just wish you all the best.
Oh, thank you.
It's great. It's great to see local people.
Right.
You know, staying here, investing in their community, adding to, just adding to the whole to the town. So I wish you all the best.
I appreciate that. Thank
Chief,
you.
no concerns on this?
Okay, sir. We're almost neighbors, so we'll keep an eye on it.
All right, perfect. All right. Okay, so with that, I'll entertain a motion to close this public hearing.
Motion to close?
I got a motion.
Second?
I have a second. All those in favor, Selectman Ryan?
Yes.
Selectman Penny?
Yes.
Selectman Needham?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Nyman?
Yes.
And myself. Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
To approve the license. I have a motion to approve and a second before I can even finish what I'm saying, but okay. So I got a motion and a second. All those in favor? Selectman Ryan?
Yes.
Selectman Penny?
Yes.
Selectman Needham?
Yes.
Vice Chair Nyman?
Yes.
And myself. Congratulations, Andy.
Congrats.
Thank you very
Congratulations.
much.
Wish you all the
I
best.
appreciate it.
See you on the 18th.
All right,
Do well.
Thank you so much.
Okay, next on the agenda, under new business, other new business not reasonably anticipated.
I have none.
None. Number 6, Town Administrator's Report and Correspondence. Doug?
Thanks, Mike. This will be short tonight. I've already mentioned once, but I'll just mention again that the nomination papers for the annual town election in April will be available tomorrow, Wednesday the 5th, at the town clerk's office. We also put in your binder the election and town meeting schedule that the town clerk and Sue Ide in my office prepare. And the two things that I always highlight that are most important to me are when we're going to open and close the warrant. So on I anticipate that at your next meeting on the 18th, you'll vote to open the warrant the next day, which is January 19th, and that we'll close the warrant on March 11th. That's it on the election and town meeting schedule. COVID-related, two quick things. One is the senior center is closed due to COVID transmission, but they will be providing senior lunches on a grab-and-go basis for those residents that need that. And as I've mentioned earlier, we have begun scheduling the impact bargaining sessions with all of our unions on the federal OSHA vaccine, mask, and testing mandate that will be applying to us. There's something, I think, pending at the Supreme Court, but for now we are still moving forward with that. And then lastly, good news with the McCarthy Farm. Since our last meeting, we have officially closed on the property. The deed is recorded at the Registry of Deeds, so we do own the farm, so that is excellent news. There's still a lot of paperwork that we're working on over the next several months in order to actually get our $400,000 check from the state later in the spring, but we're working our way through that. So more to come in the future, but we did close and we now own it. So it's really good news, and that's all I have.
Thank you, Doug. Selectmen's comments. Comments and opinions expressed by individual members do not necessarily reflect the views of the Board of Selectmen and are the opinions and comments of only the individual member. Selectman Penny.
I do not have it.
Selectman Needham.
Just quick, where this is our first meeting since the new year. I wanted to extend my best to all for a Happy New Year. I certainly feel that we're all very much due for a Happy New Year. And I just have a very quick poem I wanted to read. By Ralph Waldo Emerson. This is my wish for you. Comfort on difficult days, smiles when sadness intrudes, rainbows to follow the clouds, laughter from your lips, sunsets to warm your hearts, hugs when spirits sad, beauty for your eyes to see, friendships to brighten your being, faith so that we can believe, confidence for when you doubt, courage to know yourself, patience to accept the truth, love to complete your life. I just want to wish everybody a wonderful New Year.
Thank you, Tiffany. Appreciate it. Selectman Ryan.
I really don't have anything either, except Happy New Year to everyone, and just stay safe, and life is going to go on. We're going to make it.
Thank you, Larry. Vice Chairman Nyman.
I will join my colleagues and wish everyone a happy and healthy New Year.
Thank you, Kara. Yeah, just a couple things. Really only one thing, or two things, I guess. Yeah. So Happy New Year. Obviously, just reiterate what everybody else had said as well. But and this is directly to the members of the board. We have it's review season, and I'm going to have Attorney Clifford forward you guys the review documents. I'm going to set a hard date on it this year for 1/31. What day of the week is that, Doug? 1/31.
We'll tell you. Monday.
Okay, perfect. So Monday, 1/31.
By 1:31?
By 1:30. Well, yeah. Okay, we can do that. We can do by 1:31 in the afternoon. Okay, Larry. So we gotta really follow through. We did a great job the first year. I know last year was difficult, and with COVID and stuff like that, everything being done remotely, it was kind of difficult to wrap our arms around. Some of the things that were done, and we got a few of the reviews, a few of the completed reviews in, but we weren't really able to fully, I think, get a really good grasp of what was needed to be worked on, or goals and objectives for this office, which I would also like to schedule at some point a goals and objectives brainstorming meeting with you guys, just so we can kind of level set again and see where we are. So with that, Doug, could you email John tomorrow morning and just ask him for the review materials, and then if he could give the outline again, exactly, specifically how it's supposed to be done, especially for Tiffany, this is your first time doing this process, so just a quick review on that. And then Doug, if you could also supply us with the list of goals and objectives that we had previously given you, and where the department stands on meeting those goals or not. And again, obviously this has been ridiculous 2 years, and I blame you for the most part, because none of this happened before you were in town.
True,
So,
yeah.
or you could say me, because none of it happened before I was chairman either. So I guess we're linked together for that. So, so with that, I'll entertain a motion to enter executive session per Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21. Purpose number 2, contract negotiations with non-union personnel, police chief.
Not to reconvene?
Not to reconvene.
I'll make a motion.
I have a
Second.
motion and a second. All those in favor, Selectman Ryan?
Yes.
Selectman Penny?
Yes.
Selectman Needham?
Yes.
Selectman Vice Chairman Nyman?
Yes.
And myself. Thank you, everyone. Good night.